Okay, fine. I think I got a confirmation. So please note, this is a part two of the top TSD questions. Amit sir already have conducted one session, which was part one. And because this topic is slightly huge, there is scope of, let's say, being a part three and part four as well. So it all depends on basically based on your request, whether you want us to solve more on TSD or let's say you have any preference towards any particular topic which you want us to continue in the upcoming weeks over here. Okay. So let us get started. And what I will do is I will give you a question. Again, these are, let's say, past CAT questions. You will also get to know which particular year, which particular slot this question was asked. And then I will possibly going to give you something similar, which was asked earlier or later. So we will discuss different methods. So maybe a not a very good method, a standard method, and then a smart cut to solve the problem. And then I will give you something similar, and you will test yourself whether the smart cut can be applied by you over here. And I want active participation on the chat over here. Okay? So let's get started. And you will see the first question on the screen. And I'm giving you approximately 1 minute for this question. 1 minute. Feel free to ask your doubts as well. So in case you didn't understand any part of it, let me know on the chat. So actively put your answers. Fine. I think the time is up. I just wanted to rate this particular question. Are you finding it to be simple, straightforward, or it seems to be a slightly medium level? So once I read a particular question, you should be able to judge the difficulty level. So can I get some verdict from your side? What is your take on this question being easy, medium, or difficult? Please put your answers on the chat, easy, medium, difficult so far. Okay, so people are giving me a A, it's a type A. So type A means easy, type B means medium, and type C means a difficult one. So let's see what is going to be the approach. So most of you are saying it's a type A and a type B. So let's increase the interaction because once you will give me the response on chat, I will be able to understand what is going wrong with you in your preparation. So someone can tell me first thing over here that how is this question different from a normal linear race problem? Slightly different. And the answer over here would be, sir, in this particular context, one can say that normally they give you the length of the race. Here, the length of race is not given to you, and that has been asked by the examiner. Agree? So let us read the first line. It says, in a car race, the person A beats B by 45 kilometer, car B beats C by 50 kilometer, and car A beats car C by a 90 kilometer. Right now, what we can do is understand this particular case. Suppose if I assume the race to be of X kilometer, the race, let's say, to be of X kilometer. Now, if I make a rough diagram and suppose if I focus on this particular part, A beats B by 45 and A beats C by 90 kilometer, all of you will give me yes or no on this. By the time A completes the race, can I say the person B was 45 kilometer behind the finishing line? And one can say C was 90 kilometer behind the finishing line. If I want to create a rough diagram, this is how things are going to look like, correct? So now, as I told you, we are going to take the race is of x kilometer. So please tell me, is it right or wrong that in the time the person A covers x kilometer, x being the length of the race, in the same time, what do you think are the distances covered by B and C in the same duration when A covered a x? Can people tell me on the chat? When A complete the race by covering a x kilometer, in the same time, do you think B have covered 45 kilometer less compared to A and C has covered 90 kilometer less than compared to A? So is it right to say x minus 45 for B and x minus 90 for C? And people, I hope people are aware about this particular fact that when time is constant, the ratio of the distance implies the ratio of their speed. Yes or no? When time is constant, the ratio of the distance imply the ratio of their speed. This is what I can say based on A beats B by 45 kilometer and A beats C by 90 kilometer. Let us now focus on second part, which is car B beats by 50 kilometer. What does this statement mean? This basically would mean when B will complete the race by covering a x kilometer, in the same time, car C will cover x minus 50. Are we clear? So in the time when car B will cover x kilometer, car C will cover x minus 50 over here. So can I also say that the ratio of the speeds of car B and car C will be x is to x minus 50? All of you give me a yes or a no so far. Are you able to understand till this particular point? And now if I may ask you, how can I possibly find out the value of x? Do you think we should use the speed ratio of B and C? We should use the speed ratio of B and C. And if I do that, the speed ratio of B and C from this will be x minus 45 by x minus 90. And people tell me from the second portion, from this particular ratio, what is the speed ratio of B and C? X divided by x minus 50. I hope nobody is going to have any objection on this particular portion. The next thing which you possibly want to do over here is to do a cross multiplication. If I do a cross multiplication, so you will get x minus 45 into x minus 50, giving you a x square minus, I think, a 95x plus 45 into 50. And this thing must be equals to x square minus a 90x. X square term will get cancelled out. If I simplify this, 95x minus 90x will give you 5x is equals to 45 into 90. 5, this is 50, sorry. 5 9s is 45. So if I do a multiplication over here, 9 times of 50 will give you a 450 kilometer. So my question to you is, how many of you have possibly solved or tried to solve on those lines? Can I get some response on the chat? This is the answer, 450 kilometer, hence option number 4 is the answer. This I would say is a standard way to solve it. So any one of you have solved this using this method, somewhat similar? On the chat, people, Vinayak, Manthan, Raj, Viraj, Pranjal. Okay, so people are saying yes, they have done something of the same kind. This was a very standard approach. One can say finding out the ratio, use the variable, and then we use the cross multiplication to simplify the equation. Let us now look at an easier way to solve this. And this is very, very straightforward. So kindly pay attention. Now, all you need to know is three fundamental principles in TSD, which all of you must be knowing it. If time is constant, ratio of distance covered imply the ratio of the speed. When speed is constant, ratio of the distances covered will be in the ratio of their time taken. When distance will be constant, speed and time are inversely proportional. These are three very, very important rules which you should be aware of. Let us now re-look at the problem without any variable. Without any variable. So let me ask you, by what distance A is beating B? It's given 45. By what distance B is beating C? 50 kilometer. And by what distance A is beating C? And that is given to you as 90 kilometer. Again, if you want to represent in the form of number line, you can do it like this. So I am drawing a scenario when A complete the race. At that point of time, B1 was 45 kilometer behind the finishing line. And one can say C. B1 represent the initial position or the position when A completed the race. And at that time, we can say C was 90 kilometer behind the finishing line. I hope people are clear with this diagram. Based on A beats B by 45 and car A beats car C by 90 kilometer. Now, if I want to represent the second statement, car B beats car C by 50, that means when the person B reaches the finishing line, at that moment, where do you think C is? C is 50 kilometer behind the finishing line. I'm just putting somewhere over here is C2, and this is a 50 kilometer. Now, anyone can tell me what is the distance between C1 and C2? What is the distance between C1 and C2 people? Any initial distance of C from the finishing line was 90. Now it becomes 50. Does that make this part 40 kilometer? All of you reply on chat. Yes or no? So now people just answer this question of mine. When B has covered how much? Please tell me how much B has covered. So one can say when B has covered a 45 kilometer B1 to B2 movement in the same time. In the same time, how much do you think C has covered? C has gone from C1 to C2, covering a 40. Is it right, people? Is this part very, very clear to all of you? In the time when B has managed to cover 45, in the same duration, C has covered a 40. So this 45 and 40 are the distances covered by B and C in the same time, and hence this also represents their ratio of their speed. So my question to you is, how much more do you think B has covered compared to C? Here in this number. You can see a 5. 45 and 40 differs by 5. But remember, when B finished the finishing line, at that time, B has covered 50 more than C. B has covered 50 more than C. Anyone can tell me how can this 5 will become 50? We know this property, a ratio will remain unchanged if you multiply everything by the same quantity. So please tell me, what will you multiply in 5 to reach a 50? Put on chat, Manthan, Meghna, Lakshya, Anant. What will you multiply in 5 to reach a 50? So multiply it by 10. So B have covered 450 and that means that was the length of the race. So let me ask you, was this much, much simpler? Just ask yourself, the person B or the car B has covered how much? In the same time, how much car C has covered? And that is being done very, very in a very, very simple manner without even creating any equation over here. Are we good here? Are we good here, people? So ask yourself a very simple thing. How much car B has covered in the same time how much car C has moved? And from that, look at the winning margin of B and C and you will get the answer in a quick time. So are you ready to crack the sum? And my request would be try to use the smart cut. Try to use this smart cut approach. Use this. So this question was asked in the COVID year, slot 2. And now on the screen, you will see a question which was asked in the previous year, CAT 2019, slot 1. And please read the problem and you give me a yes on the chat that yes, this is very, very same as the previous one and the smart cut can be applied. Please draw this and do it. The only thing is for this question, it appears to be a theta question. It appears to be a theta question. Many of you can do it orally. Believe me, many of you can do it orally. Read the sum. Try to understand the sentences properly. Please note, there's no need to even draw the diagram. Believe me, there's no need to draw the diagram. But again, for the understanding purpose, it becomes very simple to visualize when you're explaining. Use the shortcut, and because I won't solve this sum using the standard approach, I will apply shortcut to solve this particular question. And this is not a replica question. This is not a replica question. Any answers? Tejas, Manthan, Anant, Meghna, Raj, Vinayak. Very good, Lakshya. Very good. Others, very good. Learning Copilot. So let's see over here. If you look at again, if I draw a rough diagram, if I make a rough diagram, even though you can, there's no need. Suppose if I say the first one to came is horse A, second one is horse B, and third one basically is horse C for easier representation. So it's given that the first one beat the second by 11 meters. So when A reached the finishing line, one can say horse B was 11 meters behind the finishing line. And third one by 90 meters. So when A finishes the race, the third horse, you can say, let's say over here, was 90 meters away from the finishing line. Then from the second statement, they are saying that if the second one beat the third one by 80 meter, what does that mean? When the horse B reaches the finishing line, at that moment, C was 80 meters behind the finishing line. So let me say C have reached over here, and this distance happens to be 80 meter. Look at the diagram properly and tell me how much B has covered. If I call this as B1, B2, in the time B have moved from B1 to B2, which you can say is 11 meter. Do you think the person C or the horse C in this context has moved from C1 to C2? And how much is that if I ask you? This is 90 minus 80 giving you 10 meters. So all of you give me a thumbs up on the chat. Does this mean the speed ratio of B and C is 11 is to 10? The speed ratio of B and C happens to be 11 is to 10. And now if you look at B beat C by 80 meter. So right now the gap seems to be 1. In the ratio, the gap seems to be 1. If I want 1 to become 80, multiply the entire ratio by 80, and that makes it 880 here and 800 over here. And this is the length of the race. How many of you were able to apply this? Yes? So shall we go ahead? So you have seen one question, and I think I gave you a chance to apply those technique in one more question of same type. Okay? I'm moving ahead now. Okay. This again is one more type, and I have taken again one more similar question from the same property. And this property is very, very useful. You can see this being tested multiple times, so worth remembering. Read it. Read the sentences properly. Try to understand it. All right, people have read this. Now, this one, if you look at, you might see we need to know some formula. Yes, if you know it, you can save a bit of time. Even if you don't know, with the help of the simple formula, please note the most powerful formula in case of TSD is distance equal to speed into time. That's the most important result. And many questions can be solved only with the help of that result itself. Here it says Arvind travels from town A to town B and Surbi from town B to town A, both starting at the same time along the same route. So if I make a rough diagram, let's say if I call it like this is town A and this is town B, and the person Arvind starts from town A to town B going towards this direction. And Surbi, if I call S only or maybe SU, traveling from town B to town A. That is very, very clear that they're starting at the same time, and both of them, if they want to go from town A to town B and town to town A, both of them are going to cover the same distance. Both are going to cover the same distance. Now they're saying after meeting each other. So fine, if I ask you when they are going to meet, so when the person Arvind and Surbi are going to meet, what do you think is going to be same? Because in TSD, the most important thing which you need to keep on asking yourself is what is constant or what is same for both the people or both the objects? So can you people reply when the person Arvind and Surbi are going to meet? When? I don't know. But what do you think will be constant? Do you think the time for which they are traveling, the time for which they are traveling will be same? All of you? The time for which they have traveled for them to meet basically will be constant. Suppose if I call this point, let's say is C. I don't know. I'm just keeping a point C being the meeting point. No, it's not distance, Siddharth, Sarthak and Divyansh. They have not covered. See, the point is I'm saying the time for which they have moved. The time in which Arvind goes from A to C is same as time in which Shurbi goes from B to C. Time is constant and not distance. Okay. So now, if I ask you, look at the movement for the person Arvind, and if I ask you for this AC distance, if the time taken by Arvind is T hours, does that mean the time taken by Surbi for the distance B to C will also be T hours? Give me yes or no. Time taken by Arvind to go from A to C is TR, and that is same as time taken by Surbi to go from town B to town C, where C is the meeting point. Okay, this portion. Again, I'm showing you where we don't remember the formula. If someone knows the formula, it's going to be very, very simple. Then, if I may ask you, after meeting, look at the keyword. After meeting each other, Arvind takes 6 hours to reach town B. Let me ask you, this 6 hour time for Arvind is to cover which distance? Anyone? After meeting, Arvind takes 6 hours to reach town B. Which portion is taken by Arvind, which takes 6 hours for Arvind? People on the chat, please reply. Is it distance CB? Is that the distance CB, people? Arvind will take 6 hours after meeting to reach town B by covering a distance of CB. Yes. While Surbi takes 24 hours to reach town B, town A. What is 24 hours for Surbi? Nothing but the time to go from C to A. I hope it is fine. These are very, very clear. So now, suppose if I focus on the distance AC, if I focus on the distance AC, and again I'm saying if I don't remember that rule, if I don't remember the fancy formula, but yes, that formula is very, very important and an aspirant should know that formula. But suppose if I don't know, and suppose if I focus on the distance AC, all of you will tell me, is it right or wrong? Because distance happen to be speed into time. So the person Arvind, speed of A, takes T hours, and the same distance Surbi takes 24 hours. Give me yes or no. Is this equation fine with you? Arvind takes TR, the same distance would be take 24 hours. I applied S into T rule. Same way, write down the scenario for the portion CB, or you can say BC. The BC distance is covered by Arvind in 6 hours and Surbi in T hours. Give me yes or no if I write it down like this. Arvind takes 6 hours and Surbi takes T hours. Now from this, the question says if Arvind travel at a speed of 54, they have given the speed of Arvind as 54 over here, then distance in kilometer between town A and town B is how much? So if I can find out how much time Arvind has taken, and then if I multiply it by 54, I can find out the required distance. So people tell me over here, if I take the ratio, if I divide this, will I get T by 6 equals to a 24 by T? If I divide this equation 1 and equation 2, let's say, then you will get T by 6 is equals to 24 by T. So T square will become 144, or T will become equals to a 12. And what does that mean? Arvind has taken 12 hours to go from A to C. 12 hours to go from A to C. So now, can someone tell me how much time Arvind has taken to go from town A to town B, people? Reply, please. From town A to town B, how much time you now see Arvind has taken in total? 12 plus 6, 18 hours. A to B, Arvind has taken 12 hours to go from A to C and another 6 hours to go from C to B. So total time for Arvind to go from town A to town B happens to be 18 hours. And now we know the speed is given 54. Distance is equals to speed into time. 54 being the speed, time is 18. 18 into 50 is 900. 18 fours is 72. 900 plus 72 becomes a 972. And that is the answer. So if I ask you a question, what do you think was the main thing to calculate? And the answer is what time, after what time the person Arvind and Surbi are able to meet. So again, this was the method for someone who don't remember the result. This was the method for someone who don't remember the result or the shortcut. But the shortcut, as I told you, was this time for them to meet. So T is equals to under root of time taken by Arvind to reach the other end after meeting into time taken by Surbi to reach the other end after meeting. This was the very, very important formula. I don't say use the term fancy because this is a very useful result. And if I see something being asked very often, then it becomes necessity for us to remember the result. Because if someone simply put root of 6 into 24, T will become root of 144, giving you a 12. And once I get the value of T as 12, things become very, very simple for us. Things become very, very simple for us. I hope people are aware about this formula or at least have seen this formula somewhere in their preparation, wherever they are doing it. Fine, so I will just give you the result, which is handy. You can refer to it. So SA by SB, if I use the term A and B and not Arvind and Surbi in this context, root of TB by TA. And you also have this result, T is equals to root of TA into TB. Now, please note what each of the term represent because people make mistakes. So I'm again repeating TA. Suppose if the task was the person A is going from X to Y and the person B is going from Y to X. So please note what does TA represent. I am giving the statement. You can note it down for yourself. TA represent time taken by A to reach Y after meeting. That word is very, very crucial. It's not the total time. Time taken by A to reach the other end Y after meeting. TB represent time taken by B to reach the other end X after meeting. These are the key statement, keyword. Don't confuse yourself. And what does T represent? T is the time taken for them to meet. T is the time taken for them to meet. So if you understand the meaning of what does TA means, what does TB mean, and what does T mean, you can easily crack this particular question. I hope it is fine. Yes, T is the meeting time. TA represent time taken by A to reach the other end Y after meeting. And TB represent time taken by, let's say, B to reach the other end X after meeting. That word after meeting is very, very crucial. Fine. So if you have understood this, people, let us now look at the next question, which is on the same lines. Now, I will just ask you a question. Can the formula, is this question same? Is this two questions same? Or is something missing over here? All of you, please try this particular question. First of all, don't solve. Just read the problem. And please let me know that is this question slightly tricky? Is this slightly tricky? And if I ask you, where is the tricky part? All of you, please. Srijan, this formula have come multiple times and this are being referred also in multiple books. They are being there. Huh? Since 20 years, this formula is there. Or even more than before that. Yes, very good, people. So it's very crucial that we don't remember or mug up any formula. Can people tell me how is this slightly different, people, from the previous one? It is slightly different. Some keywords are missing. So train A and B start traveling at the same time towards each other with constant speed from station X and Y. So again, if I draw a diagram, even though diagram is not required very much, X, Y, train A is going from X to Y, let's say, and the train B is going from Y to X. So they've given that train A reach station Y in 10 minutes, while train B take 9 minutes to reach station X after meeting train A. So my question to you over here is this 10 minute representing TA? Is this 10 minute representing TA? No, it is the total time. Train A reaches station Y in 10 minutes. That is the total time taken by the train A. Whereas 9 minutes for train B is the time taken by B to reach X after meeting. After meeting. The question asked you is total time taken in minute by train B to travel from station Y to station X. If I ask you a simple question, can you at this stage, using common sense, eliminate at least one option? Can you possibly eliminate any one option? If train B is taking 9 minutes to reach station X after meeting train A, so total time for train B to go from Y to X has to be more than 9? Yes or no? It has to be more than 9. So let me ask you, is it okay on my part to say, whatever be the case, answer can't be option number 3. So please note, as you eliminate the options, your chance of getting an answer right becomes more and more. So right now, if someone also make a random guess without solving, probability now becomes 1 out of 3 compared to a 1 out of 4 earlier. Clear now? Using common sense, apply logic, keep on looking at the options. That's very, very important. Options are very important tool. So let's say again, if I told you that they meet at the point C. So please tell me, for the person B, he will take T minute. to go from Y to C, and let's say train A will take T minutes or whatever, T minute to go from X to C. Now for train B, it is given after meeting train A, it takes 9 minutes for train B to reach X. So anyone can tell me if total time, please note the statement of mine, if total time for train A to go from X to Y is 10 minutes, and out of which if T minutes are going to be lost because of X to C distance, anyone can tell me how much time do you think train A will take to go from C to Y? Will it be 10 minus T? All of you? If total time for A to go from X to Y is 10, out of which T minutes have been used to go from X to C, so this portion will be 10 minus T. Yes or no? And now at this particular stage, if I may ask, can I use this T square must be the product of this number and this number? Factorize. So T become equal to 6. So this T will become 6. This will become 6. This becomes 4. And one can verify also now. People tell me is T square equals to TA into TB? Is T square over here 6 square is equals to 9 into 4, 36? Yes. So people, what do you think train B will take how much time to cover the entire distance? Must be a 6 plus 9 giving you 15. Hence option number 1 is the answer. Yes, so sometimes the question look identical, but don't be in a hurry to apply the formula immediately. Read the word very, very carefully. I hope you have learned a lesson also in both this question. So we have done 4 questions. Primarily, we have solved 2 of them and 2 have been solved by you people. Let us now move ahead and let's look at this question. Again, an interesting question. Read the sum very, very carefully. So here, remember, we don't have any shortcut. Yes, there's a slight smart cut. And that smart cut basically, for example, if I am solving this particular question, I may save, I don't know, maybe at the max 30 seconds or possibly a minute if I do really, really fast compared to what you might take. Okay, so let us understand this. It's a simple one, but again, people can possibly get confused because of nothing is given. Nothing is given to you in absolute sense over here, whether you say in terms of speed or the time taken. They have told you with respect to usual time, you are late by some time, you are early by some time, and so on like this. So here, a train traveled a certain distance at a uniform speed. Fine. So we don't know what the speed was. Had the speed been 6 kilometers per hour more, it would need 4 hours less. So if I ask you 4 hours less compared to what? One can say 4 hours less compared to a normal time. So what you will do is, suppose if I write down this situation, I will write down usual. And suppose if I write down the scenario of speed and time, I will take some variable. You can choose to take X and Y, or you can present S and T. They look more appropriate because S will represent speed, T will represent time. There's no hard and fast rule to take S and T. You can move with A and B, X and Y, whatever works with you. Fine. So suppose uniform speed, the normal speed is S and normal time is T. Look at the sentence. Had the speed being 6 kmph more, That means, does this mean the speed becoming s plus 6 people? 6 kilometer more, it would have taken 4 hours less. So please tell me, when the speed is 6 kmph more, s plus 6, what is the time taken? Can I say t minus 4 hours? T minus 4. It's very important for us to represent. It's more about converting English to math. That is what we need to do. Then they are saying, had the speed been 6 kmph less, that means if the speed was like this, s minus 6, in that case, the time taken would have been 6 hours more, which means what? Compared to normal, t plus 6 over here. So we have three situations. In one, your speed was s, time taken is t. In one case, speed was s plus 6, time taken is t minus 4. In the third scenario, speed become s minus 6 and time is t plus 6 over here. My question to you is, what is constant in each and every case over here? Very good, Sarvesh. What is constant in each of these cases? And the answer is distance covered by the train. The thing is distance covered by the train. And how do you find out the distance? All of us know, multiply the speed and time, s into t. So all of you tell me, should I say the distance must be equal to s into t or s minus 6 into t plus 6, or I can say also s plus 6 into t minus 4. Are all of you comfortable with what I wrote here? So distance s into t or s plus 6 into t minus 4 or also s minus 6 into t plus 6 over here. And what I will do now is I will suppose take two of them. Suppose if I take this one and I expand it, s into t, s into t plus 6s minus 6t minus 36. This I will simplify a bit and they will give you 6s minus 6t is 36. And that can be further reduced because I can divide each of this by 6, giving you s minus t is equal to 6. I got one equation in s and t. Similarly, I will take one more equation, which is this. First one and let's say last one. S into t must be equals to st minus 4s plus 6t minus 24. Again, the term st will get cancelled out, and one can say over here that 6t minus 4s is equals to a 24 after doing some simplification. I will further divide by 2, making it 3t minus 2s is equals to a 12. So now at this particular moment, if I may ask you, you have got a simple equation involving two variables. Can this be solved? And can I find out the value of S and T? People reply on a chat. At this stage, if someone leaves you and say you carry ahead, go ahead. Yes or no, can we do it? We should, right? So from here, suppose I can say your first equation can be doubled. 2s minus 2t will become 12. If I add them up, s term will get cancelled out and one will get t equals to 24. If I got t as 24, I can put that over here and s will become equals to 24 plus 6 giving you a 30. So people, I got the normal speed as 30, normal time as 24. So can we know what was the actual distance covered? 30 into 24, 720. So this, I would say, is a very common approach which one will apply to solve this particular problem, right? So there's no shortcut involved over here. It's a, you can say, a brute force approach where you have to drag and you have to write the expression, solve it, and then you simplify it over here. Someone asking, Ananta asking, do we have direct formula? The answer is direct formula is not there for this question, but yes, you have a slight smart cut. You can make your life slightly better. So I will discuss the next approach. So let me discuss that. Smart cut means a slightly better way to solve this. This was a conventional way, Neeraj. Uh, I can do it slightly faster, is what I'm saying. A smart cut means a better approach. Again, for that, your fundamental need to be really strong. Now, one thing, this is a very, very important property and you can note it down and can be very, very helpful. Do you notice one thing about this number s minus 6, s and s plus 6? S minus 6, s and s plus 6. Do you see that these three numbers are basically in a arithmetic progression? Can you see this? The speeds given to you over here, s minus 6, s and s plus 6 happens to be in arithmetic progression. A constant difference of 6 has been added. Yes or no over here? So property is for the same distance, if speeds are in AP, then time are going to be in HP. This was the shortcut. So if I apply this, I can easily find out the value of S. I can easily find out the value of T over here. Okay? So when speeds are in AP, time are going to be in HP and vice versa. So if someone says time in AP, then speed has to be in HP. Again, a very, very important result worth remembering. So people, if I ask you a question, how will one find out a harmonic mean of two numbers? For example, if suppose I say numbers are A and B, how do you find out a harmonic mean of this number? Sir, 2AB upon A plus B. I hope people remember the formulas. For two numbers A and B, this is the formula to find out the harmonic mean. I think Anand missed out. It must be this. Hmm? Correct? So over here, if you look at this T need to be the harmonic mean. So one can say T must be equals to, so as I told you, T will be the harmonic mean of T plus 6 and T minus 4. So use the formula, T will be equals to 2 times of T plus 6, T minus 4, divide by sum of these two numbers, which is 2T plus 2. I can take 2 common. This will become T plus 1. This 2 and this 2 can be cancelled. Cross multiply. T square plus T will be equals to T square plus 2T minus 24. T become equals to a 24. So we are able to find out that T is equals to a 24. And once I get T as 24, other two numbers can be easily calculated. This is going to be 20. This would be equals to a 30. So once we found out T, now with the help of the ratio technique, we can easily find out the speeds S as well. So you will find out the speed S will come out to be 30 here. This will be 36 and this would be a 24. Fine. So the main property which I wanted to cover in this question, I took this was speed in AP, time are going to be in HP. That is the property. Divyansh asked the question that, sir, how will you find out the harmonic mean of three numbers? So for three numbers, the formula will go like this: 3ABC divided by AB plus BC plus a CA. Divyansh, just to answer your query over here. Okay, cool. Let us now look at this question. Again, a nice one. A very good question. So please read it carefully. And this time I will only show you the better way to solve it. Huh? And I will give you a replica question. So once you understand my approach, I will give you a variation and you will be easily able to crack it. Okay, people, let's look at this question now. A very good question. Came in 2019, and many of you may find this to be slightly challenging because it's difficult to interpret, but not difficult. Let's read it one by one, and please reply on the chat once I will ask for it. So, two ants, A and B, start from point P on a circle at the same time, with A moving clockwise and B moving anti-clockwise. They meet for the first time at 10 a.m. when A has covered 60% of the track. So far, if I may ask you, what do you think is missing? Anyone can tell me what do you think is missing? Do I know when, at what time A and B have started? People, do we know at what time A and B are starting from the point P? The answer is no, that is not known to us at the moment. And our task is to decode that part. Huh? So what I've done, suppose I am drawing a circle and suppose this being the starting point P, this being the starting point P over here. The person A is going to go clockwise and the person B is going to go anti-clockwise, right? So the A will go clockwise movement, B will go anti-clockwise movement. I don't know the starting point, starting time of A and B, but what is given at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., they are meeting for the first time where A has covered 60% of the track. Let me ask you, do you think they are going to meet somewhere over here? I'm just drawing a rough diagram. This being the meeting point. Yes or no? Somewhere over here. And if someone asks you that how much do you think A has covered, how much distance of the track do you think A has covered when they have met? No, Lakshya, it's not right. Please focus. A has covered 60% of the track. Yes or no? So please tell me out of 100%, if A has covered 60% in the same time, how much do you think B has covered? People, please reply. How much do you think B have covered? B must have covered 40%. Do you agree? For them to meet together, they have to cover the entire track length. So since A has covered 60% of the track, in the same time B has covered 40%. All of you are fine with this statement of mine? A covering 60% and B covering 40%, and this has taken the same time, and this meeting point one can say happened to be at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. So people tell me, since A has covered 60% and in the same time B has covered 40%, are you in a situation to tell me what is the speed ratio? What is the speed ratio of A and B? Please reply. Very good, Ganesh. Very good, Lakshana. You made a mistake earlier, Lakshya. Can I say the speed ratio of A and B is 3:2? The speed ratio of A and B is 3:2. Now, you please focus on the person A because we have more information regarding the person A. So, person A returns to P at 10:12. The person A returns to P at 10:12. Anyone can tell me for the person A to read and I will say person or ant doesn't matter, right? So please tell me for the ant A to come back to P, how much distance A is covering? Anyone? How much distance is A going to need to cover to reach back to point P? On the chat, what percent? 40%? Am I right, people? A has covered 60%. If it has to go back to P, all of you reply, will A need to cover 40 more percent, 40%? And 40% for A, because A is reaching back over here at 10:12. Does that mean the ant A will cover 40% of the track in 12 minutes? This is the main thing. Yes or no? Understand this and tell me. A will cover this 40% of the track, this part, will be covered by and A in 12 minutes, and that represent 40% of the track. Give me yes or a no over here. Because from 10 o'clock, 10 till 12, that simply means nothing but a time of 12 minutes. Yeah. Now, the next thing. The question says, then B will return to P at what time? Then B will return to P at what time? Anyone can tell me for B to come back to P, he has to cover how much distance? He has to cover how much distance? 60%? People look at diagram. Do you think B has to cover this length? Yes or no? 60%. So my question now become that 60% B and B will take how much time? If I can find that, I can arrive at the answer. Give me yes or no on this. I want to know for 60% distance, how much time and B will take. If I can answer this, I can easily get my reply. So please reply now. 40% and A take 12 minutes. So can someone tell me for 60%, how much the same and A will take? Please focus and tell me. For the and A, 40% takes 12 minutes. So 60% will take how much time? Anyone? Use proportionality sign, na? Sir, time distance become 50% more. So time taken also become 50% more. Is it right to say 18 minutes? This portion is correct. 60% for the same ant will take 18 minutes. Yes, yes, I'm aware, Divyan, but I'm just going slow because to make everyone understand, I can do it orally. So 3 by 2 into 3 by 2 of 12 giving you 27. So 60% of A takes 18. So same distance for B will take less time or more time? 60% by A takes 18 minutes. 60% by B will take same time or more time? The answer is more time because speed of B is less. So please note if speed ratio is 3 is to 2 for A and B, then time ratio has to be 2 is to 3. So same distance, B will take 3 by 2 of what A will take. And that makes it 27 minutes. So people, from 10 o'clock, B will take 27 minutes to reach back to the point P. So I should mark option number 1 as the answer. Again, a very, very conceptual problem. And if someone does it in a very simple manner, they won't take too much of time. Clear? So let me ask, should I give you a slight variation in the sense changing the data and let's see if you can do it in a similar manner? Should I? Yes, you are right, Dipesh. So people, let's say I make this part 10 or 9. And now please note because I'm changing the question, don't look at the options. Huh? The options are not true anymore. This being 70%. This being 70%. And the entire question remains the same. This is not 10, 12 now. So I will just go step by step and you please actively participate and put the answer on the YouTube chat. So when they meet for the first time, A is covering 70%. So how much does and B covers? Reply 30%. So please tell me yes or no. From this particular part, in the same time, if A covers 70%, B will cover 30%. So do you think the speed ratio of A and B has to be 3 is to 7? Yes. What about time ratio? 3 is to 7. Okay, I'm just going to wait for 1 minute, let people solve it. see if you can do it with the same method I have applied. So I am someone who just try to say, don't use too many complex formula. Don't mug up the formulas. But yes, the important one should be known to you. Okay, Ganesh, I think we'll see. Good, Aryan. I have got one right answer, hopefully. Others, just focus on the key thing. Ganesh, try again. So let's see, people. Let's look at this part. Now tell me, after meeting, okay, A takes 9 minutes. And tell me in those 9 minutes, how much percent of the track does A cover? Reply please on the chat now. In 9 minutes, how much do you think the ant A covers now? 30%? So for that 30%, ant A takes 9 minutes. Do you agree? For that 30%, the ant A takes 9 minutes. So now, what do you think for 70%? For 70%, how much do you think the same ant A will take? Very good, Divyansh. Very good, Neeraj. People are getting right answer. For 30% of the track, ant A take 9 minutes. So for 70%, how much time do you think ant A must have taken? Sir, ant A will be taking nothing but 70 into 9 by 30. Is it 21 minutes? So for 70% of the track, ant A will take 21 minutes. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think we are supposed to find out that for the same 70%, how much time, how much time B will take? Yes or no? So for the same 70%, B will take what? B will take 7 by 3 of what A will take. So answer in that case will become 1049. See, as I told you, I have just changed the numbers. So in that case, the answer options are not going to be true over here. Clear? So let's do one last question and then we can call it off for today. I hope people are finding it nice. Session being nice so far. So read this. Thanks, Neeraj. Thanks, Ian. Last question. Let's do it. Again, take a minute, read every line properly. Yes, Raj, I try to solve questions using ratios. I avoid using variables. Devans, the previous two questions, you can put them not under A category because many of the aspirant will find it challenging. They are going to be a type B kind of problem, the previous two. which we covered, that requires a good understanding of solving the questions. Divyansh, the previous two questions are not very, very straightforward. Many of them will not understand 70%, 60%, and they will possibly get confused. Okay, let's solve this question. And again, I will take a long route to solve this question first. I think let's avoid the long method. Let's read the sum first, all the entire part together. A train traveled at one third of its usual speed and hence reached the destination 30 minutes after the scheduled time. Fine. On the return journey, the train initially traveled at its usual speed for 5 minutes and then stopped for 4 minutes for some emergency. The percentage by which the train must now increase the usual speed so as to reach the destination at the scheduled time is nearest to, that means approximate to. Okay, let's look at this. So Kiran, just give me some time. Let me discuss this question. Let me ask you, do you see anywhere they have given the speed? Do you think anywhere they have given the speed over here in the question? The answer is no. They've only told initially the speed is one third of the normal. So you can use variable, you can use x, t, and you can do whatever you want. And that can be very, very problematic. Okay? So let me use a difficult method first so you can understand the pain. So here they are saying a train travel at a one third of the normal speed. Suppose if I take normal speed to be s. So when the speed was s, let's say time taken is t. As per the first sentence, the train is traveling at one third the normal time. So I can say one third of s. In that case, reach destination 30 minutes later than the scheduled time. People tell me, does this mean t plus 30 minutes? I'm assuming this time is in terms of minute. I'm assuming t is in terms of minute. Is that fine? Yes. So now my question to you is, using distance formula, can I find out the value of t? S into t is equals to one third s into t plus 30. A long cut, this is long cut. 3t is equals to a t plus 30. So 2t is 30. So t becomes 15, which means normally it will take 15 minutes. On that day, because the speed become one third, time taken is 45 minutes. I hope all of you are okay with this part so far, what we are able to make out from the first two sentences. So please note, normally you will take 15 minutes and we have used variable to arrive at that number. On the return journey, the train initially traveled at the normal speed for 5 minutes. So I can say like this, please give me yes or no, normal speed, and I traveled for 5 minutes. Then I have stopped for 4 minutes. So no distance was covered in the next 4 minutes. Anyone can tell me to reach on time. Suppose if I change my speed to x, I change my speed to x. Now tell me, how much time do I have remaining? I want to reach in the same time. Total time was 15, out of which 5 plus 4 are gone. How much is remaining? 6 more minutes. So let's say the train will travel for 6 minutes with the speed of, let's say, x kilometer per minute. If I say speed is in terms of kilometer per minute. And do you think the total distance must be equals to s into 15? All of you give me yes or no on this. So from this, I will find out 6x will be equals to a 10s. X by s, if I look at, will be 10 by 6 or a 5 by 3. And the question was, by what percentage the train must now increase the normal speed so as to reach the destination in the scheduled time? Does this mean a speed of 3 will now going to become 5? So it's an increase of 2 over 3. Normal speed was 3, new speed is 5, so it's an increase of 2 over 3. And people tell me, what do you know about 2 by 3 in terms of percentage? Is it 6.67%? So ideally, you should look for this in the option, but because they use the term approximately or nearest to, what will you mark? You will mark option number 2 over here. Again, this is one of the method of solving the problem. Now, okay, Divyansh is asking why we multiplied x with 6. Understand the normal time was 15 minutes, Divyansh. So for the scheduled time, what has happened? You have traveled for 5 minutes with normal speed. Then you wasted 4 minutes. So you can say you have wasted 4 minutes. There was zero speed. How much time is remaining? 15 minus 5 minus 4 will give you nothing but a 6. And this 6, I am going with some new speed x. I hope it is fine. Longer route, variables to solve it. Let us now see an easier method. So people, if I read this particular portion, and suppose if I look at speed, usual, and the reduced one. Can someone tell me, as per the first part of the first sentence, if speed is 1/3 of normal, if I take usual as 3, does that mean on that day that reduced speed was 1? So please tell me, for the speed ratio is 3:1, what about the time taken? Listen, Pratham, I would request focus on this method. You can forget about the longer method. Look at the first part. The speed is 1/3 of normal. So if I take the normal or usual speed as 3, that speed will become 1/3 of 3, giving you 1. Now we know that for the same distance, speed and time are inversely proportional. If speed ratio is 3:1, then time ratio will become 1:3. Now, how much more in this scenario, in ratio terms, are you able to see? A 2. A 2. If you look at the actual problem, you have taken 30 minutes more. Now please reply, what will you multiply in 2 to reach 30? What will you multiply in 2 to reach 30? Sir, multiply the ratio by 15. If I multiply by 15, I hope you will see that everywhere this will become 15, this will become 45, and you will take 30 more minutes in the second case. Yes, the ratio thing is very, very important. So I know now that normally I will take 15 minutes. Now understand, I will not do anything. You are supposed to cover the entire journey in 15 minutes is was planned thing. So here they have told you, you are starting with the normal speed and you traveled for 5 minutes. You traveled for 5 minutes. Let's say I'm just showing you A, B, C. Now, if I ask you, if I have not stopped for the emergency, if I have not stopped at the point C, then tell me this distance C to B with my usual speed will take how much time, anyone? This C to B distance without halting, what do you think I would have taken? Nothing but 15 minus 5, 10 minutes. Do you agree? This C to B part without halting, I would have normally taken 10 minutes if I want to reach on time. Yes. On that day, what has happened? Actually, at the point C, you lost 4 more minutes because of emergency. And because of this, you need to increase the speed. So anyone can tell me, I increase my speed with a new speed, let's say new increased speed. The same distance C to B was covered in how much time to reach exactly in the same duration? Is it 15 minus 5 minus 4 giving you 6 minutes? So even if someone does understand the C to B part, in the normal speed, you will take 10 minutes. In the new speed scenario, you will take 6 minutes. And from this, I can easily find out the speed ratio. So usual and new, or you can say new or whatever. new speed and the usual speed rate time. So new speed 6 minutes, usual speed 10 minutes. So anyone can tell me about the speed ratio? 10 is to 6 or a 5 is to 3. And from this, it's an increase of 2 over 3, hence 66.66%. So if you deal with pure numbers, remember, if you deal with pure numbers, things are much, much better. And that's why you will see me, Amit sir, and many other faculty prefer to take decent numbers so that we try to avoid fraction as much as possible. Okay, so we are done with it. And if you have any further queries, so please, as I told you, TSD is very vast. So I think we can find few more questions and we will see if part 3 can also be done sometime later in this series. And you can tell us if you want few more specific chapters, topic, and something similar, maybe 4 or 5 questions on those lines. Thank you, people. So all of you can put your response. Some of them I won't be able to reply. I can look at the chat and I will respond it later. Hmm? Thank you, Divyansh. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you, Nitish. Kiran, I think we have written the numbers. Some of them are 23, 22, 21, 20, etc. Okay, Deepshree, we'll keep in mind. We can keep something on percentage SICI. Thank you. Ganesh, are you referring to the question on that ant one? Ganesh, if you are there, that 70%, 30%, I gave the new numbers. You can reply on chat if you're present. So see the issue in your what you have written, you have assumed the total distance to be 90, and then you are saying he's covering 27 kilometer in 9 minutes at the speed of, that is a problem. Because if you have taken 27 kilometer in 9 minutes, that translates to 3 kilometer per minute. That is very, very important. So in that case, you can't take the speed of B to B2 because the speed ratio of A and B was coming out to be 7 is to 3. So if you have taken 3 is fine. In that case, the speed ratio of B will become, you can say 3 into 3 by 7. So 9 by 7 become the speed of B. Ganesh, I hope you are clear now that what is the mistake which was made from your side. Okay. Okay, Pratham, just to answer a question, 6 minutes came from because the usual time was 15 minutes. So if you have gone for 5 minutes at the normal speed, then you wasted 4 minutes. How much time is over? 5 plus 4 becomes 9. And if you want to reach on time, the remaining time is 6 minutes. Pratham, total was 15, out of which you are wasting 4 in waiting because of some emergency, and 5 you walked or traveled at a normal speed. ठीक है? Thank you, people. We'll see you again. Chalo. I'm signing off now.